Miracle-Grow for your brain. This is how scientists like Dr. and author John Ratey have described the link between physical activity and increased academic performance. Physical activity not only gives us a healthier and stronger body, but a healthier, stronger, and faster mind as well. In recent years, scientists and researchers have become very focused on finding the link between increasing physical activity and increasing academic performance in students across all grade levels. They found that not only does physical activity increase academic performance and test scores, but it also increases brain activity, increases a student's ability to focus, helps to reduce symptoms of ADHD in the classroom, and can even help students improve their short and long-term memory functions. But why was this research necessary? It all started when the CDC released a report in June in 2012 that showed that nearly half of the high school students across the country reported that they were given little to no physical activity in their schools. In California, the researchers at the University of California performed a study and found that only 20% of their schools met the minimum requirement of 20 minutes of in-school physical activity per day. They also found that most of the elementary schools across the state and across the country did not even have gym teachers, a gym, and only gave their students 1 hour of physical activity per week. The decreased levels of physical activity, coupled with a stark decrease in national testing scores, spurred researchers and scientists to delve deeper into finding the connection between physical activity and academic performance. As I mentioned earlier, physical activity can improve a student's academic performance and help raise test scores. It has been proven that students who exercise before studying consistently outperform their inactive counterparts who study for the exact same amount of time. In his book, Spark, Dr. John Ratey cites a study done by Naperville High School in Naperville, Illinois. In this study, a morning literacy class split their high school students into 2 groups in an attempt to find a link between physical activity and better test scores. The first group of high school students was required to exercise for 30 minutes before class each day, keeping their heart rates between 160 and 190 beats per minute by jogging around the school's gym. Group 2 was allowed to sleep in before class. There were stark differences in the improvements of the academic performances of these 2 groups. Group 1 showed a 20% increase in their academic performance and learning comprehension, while Group 2 only showed a 10% increase. The CDC has done their own extensive research to further prove that this link between increased physical activity and academic performance exists. This is an infographic published by the CDC on their website explaining their findings. This shows and explains that just 60 minutes of any type of physical activity per day, be that walking, biking, jogging, swimming, makes a student twice as likely to get A's and B's than those students who do not exercise. In addition to this, students who exercise just 60 minutes a day with any type of physical activity are also shown to have better attitudes and better behaviors in a classroom setting, which can, in addition, lead to better academic performance. In an additional study reported and published for the George Lucas Educational Foundation, scientist Vanessa Richardson analyzed scientific studies performed across the country with elementary school students, which showed a strong link between increased physical activity, and increased academic performances in elementary schools as well. But exercise not only increases test scores, it can also increase brain activity and create more connections in our brain, thus leading to a stronger and healthier mind. Dr. Chuck Hillman of the University of Illinois conducted a study in which he took MRIs of 20 students' brains in 2 different situations. The first set of MRIs was taken of the students' brains while they were taking a test, before which they sat quietly with no physical activity. The second set of MRIs was taken while the students took the exact same test, except this time they took a 20-minute walk before taking the test. These are the results. This is the first MRI of the students' brains when they sat quietly before the test. The areas of blue and light green are areas of inactivity in the brain. As you can see, there was very little brain activity when they were taking the test, when they had just been sitting quietly. This is the image of the second MRI that was taken. This was the MRI that was taken when the students exercised by taking a 20-minute walk before the test. As you can see, there is a drastic increase in brain activity in these red, yellow, and green areas, further supporting the fact that exercise does in fact increase brain activity. Additional research done by the University of Illinois in 2014 found that students who were most physically active showed more increases in brain activity and brain connectivity than students who were not active. Not only does physical activity give us a healthier mind, it can also help students' ability to focus in the class and can even reduce symptoms of ADHD. Research has shown that aerobic exercises such as walking, jogging, swimming, biking, playing sports, etc. increase brain activity drastically. This helps the student to focus and can help give the student better control over their symptoms of ADHD. I myself have severe ADHD, and school's always been a struggle for me. I've always had trouble sitting still in class and focusing, and studying for more than 10 minutes at a time was almost impossible. Once I read this research, I decided to do my own experiment to see how exercise and increasing my physical activity could improve my scores in the class. At the beginning of the semester, I scheduled an 8 a.m. class every day of the week. For the first 3 weeks of the semester, I woke up as late as possible and went straight to class with little or no physical activity. I found it very difficult to focus. I couldn't sit still in class. I couldn't pay attention for more than a few seconds. I found it very difficult to retain any of the information, and recalling it was almost impossible. I saw decreased scores on my homework and my tests because of this. The next 3 weeks of the semester, I decided to try some exercise to see if that would help improve my scores, and it did. I took a 20-minute jog before class and went to class immediately after. I found that I was able to sit still and pay attention to the teacher longer. I was able to retain more information in class, and it was easier to recall the information when studying. I then saw an increase in my scores on my homework and my tests. So I personally can attest to the fact that exercise does help academic performance and can help reduce symptoms of ADHD. But not only does physical activity help with focus and mental agility, it can also help students improve short and long-term memory functions. And that doesn't just go for students, it goes for adults as well. It has been shown that physical activity increases blood and oxygen flow both to your brain and your body. And it also releases chemicals called endorphins that help the brain to grow, create more connections, and to become stronger. This can help students improve certain cognitive functions like memory, short and long term. Researchers at the Georgia Institute of Technology found that even exercising just for 20 minutes a day can improve long-term and short-term memory drastically, even in adults as old as 70 years old. In his book Spark, John Rady cites an additional experiment done by researchers in which groups of adults and high school students were asked to memorize lists of words and phrases, both without exercise and with exercising before memorizing the lists. The adults and high school students who exercised before attempting to memorize the lists or while attempting to memorize the lists showed a better accuracy percentage in recalling the information. They were better able to retain the lists and recall more of the items on the lists than those students who did not exercise before memorizing them. Exercise is not only a great way to improve our physical strength, but it also has been proven to improve our mental agility and our mental strength time and time again. Next time you're at the gym, remember, not only is your body thanking you for the physical exercise and for the strength that you're giving it, but you're giving your brain fuel as well. Your brain and your grades will thank you later.